It would seem that 2019 has not been a very good year for the progressive media. Disney came out recently saying that the $400 million it has invested into Vice has been lost. We have CNN saying that they're losing millions of dollars and they have to shut down their London office. Gizmodo, the parent company of Kotaku, also got sold. And this is just a couple of the outlets that are suffering. There's many others that I don't have time to name. But what I want to point out is that there is many reasons for why this is happening. First of all is the rise of the alternative media. People rather watch PewDiePie than to read Vice News. Secondly, it's the ideological leaning. Take into account that Fox News is the most watched cable channel in the world, with Tucker Carlson being their flagship. And I think the ideology isn't necessarily the reason why this is happening, because in Europe you see a lot of people voting for the Greens, they're voting for the left, so the ideology is there, but I think the way the mainstream media is behaving, the way they are constantly preaching and lecturing their readers and telling their readers how to think, that is also part of why people get fed up. People don't need another mother, they don't need another father, they don't need to be lectured on how to behave and how to be good people by someone they've never met and by someone they've never elected. And you also have this mentality that Vox Media displayed in one of their videos where they view the role of the press to be the gatekeeper of information.
In the middle, you've got journalists, sorting through what's important and what's just partisan bullshit. This is called gatekeeping, and it's one of the most important things journalists do.
You see, in their mind, there are different news that are coming up, and the press needs to select the news that they consider to be appropriate for the public and to focus on that particular news and ignore all of the others. And I would disagree that this is the role of the press. I think the press should function in a competition with each other, and different outlets should focus on different news. There shouldn't be like the press unionizing behind an ideology and then deciding, okay, we're going to stop pushing this news and we're going to push this one more because this is what the public wants, despite of what the ratings say. Now, if we look at Vox, you will see that people have unionized, and I'm pretty sure that the reason they're doing this is because the wages aren't that great, and maybe the working conditions aren't good either. I can understand that, but if you look at the bottom line, Vox is not doing well. They are losing a lot of money, and when Vox is losing money, they are not going to be able to pay the appropriate wages. So simply unionizing and demanding more money from a company that's already losing money is not going to fix the problem. The problem is in the articles that you guys are pushing. The problem is when you make articles such as straight white men, and what I mean by this, just Google straight white men Vox or straight white men Vice, and you will see hundreds, if not thousands of articles on Google search, and none of them are charitable. All of them, they are taking a piss on straight white men. And, you know, this would be something that I would understand if you do it in Japan, if you do it in India, if you do it in countries where you don't have a lot of straight white men that want to click your shit. But when you do it in Europe, when you do it in America, when you do it in the English-speaking world, where there's a lot of straight white men, why do you think they're going to read your garbage? Why do you think they want to be lectured on how to behave by a person they've no idea who they are? And you don't even know the guy that's reading it, but you're going to trash talk him anyway. Imagine if I would go to Africa and I would make articles straight black men and then start lecturing them about things. Of course, like, they are not going to read my publications and they're going to frown about it. So the identity politics that the left has delved in and their refusal to admit that maybe their ideology isn't perfect, and maybe that they aren't the ones that are always in the right, and they're doubling down, and the culture worrying, this is what is finally happening. People are tuning out from these publications. And by the way, this has happened before with the right. Fox News used to be the laughing stock. Fox News used to be what CNN is now, because they rallied around evangelical Christianity, and they were such hunkering down when it came to the ideology and doubling down by lecturing people that Dungeons and Dragons is the work of Satan, that playing video games like Doom are simulators for serial killers, by making things that evolution shouldn't be taught in classrooms, and saying that tides go in, tides go out, you can't explain that. And yeah, people noticed the craziness and they moved away. And they moved away to the left. They got a lot of people to become progressives. And because of that, a lot of investors thought that progressivism is the future. And now the progressives have gotten really crazy, so people are moving away. The pendulum is swinging to the opposite side. But what's fascinating about this is that Vox Media is one of the progressive outlets that constantly ask for diversity, ask for people to get woke. And it seems that they're only asking for people to get woke when it's them that they have to pay for the wokeness. The moment they have to pay for the wokeness, they are going to shift their hiring towards part-times and contract workers since its staff have unionized. Oh, I see, comrade. Alright, so no more socialism now. Alright, we're back to capitalism. I need to understand how this thing works. I am so fascinated by the people that asks for everyone else to be diverse. Like, for example, when you see people like Brie Larson, and she's a multi-million-dollar actress. Like, she has more money than I will ever imagine. I don't think, like, my entire family put together since the prehistoric age all the way up till now managed to amass the same wealth that Brie Larson has amassed in her lifetime. Alright, so we're talking about a very upper-class bourgeoisie woman who is living a lifestyle of absolute luxury. And she is asking for Hollywood to be more diverse when it comes to casting people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's like, okay, but why don't you step down and let a black woman take your place as Captain Marvel? Or maybe a lesbian person take your place? Because, like Captain Marvel, why couldn't she be a lesbian? Why shouldn't she be a lesbian, right? So you have these people that are all about talking about being wokeness, preaching to others how to behave. But when you look at them, they're not willing to step down. They're not willing to do what needs to be done, because it's only good as someone else gets fired. If you get fired, that's fine. Don't expect Brie Larson to get fired, right? Because she needs to make room for more diversity. And it's the same with these mainstream media companies. You know, they might be really progressive. They might be incredibly progressive socially. But when it comes to the people calling the shots, when it comes to the people up top that are doing the economics, they're very capitalist, they're very conservative. And I love at the Young Turks as well. You know, you have Hassan Piker on the Young Turks who unironically said that we need to arm the proletariat. If someone has that clip, just put it in the comment section, because he actually said that. So they're very socialist, they're supportive of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But whenever they start talking about the 1% and big businesses, you will see Cenk Uygur time and time again go like, whoa. No, I'm a capitalist. It's like, of course he's a capitalist. He runs a multi-million-dollar organization. Of course he's a staunch capitalist and believer in the Adam Smith way of doing things when it's his business that's being targeted. He got like $20 million from Qatar. You know, like Al Jazeera made the deal with the Young Turks. They have a lot of money, and they're not going to become very woke anytime soon. They will preach to other people to become woke, but when it comes to them, it's like let's remain fiscally conservative. Let's focus on the good of the company. And this is another reason why people stop reading these progressive outlets, because they realize that these people love to flap their mouth and to say the correct things, but when it comes to doing action, when it comes to doing the things that need to do, they don't. For an example, and I'll probably make another video about this because it's an ongoing virtue signaling bandwagon. You have the actress who played Sansa in Game of Thrones, and she came out saying that she's not going to film in Georgia or have contracts in Georgia anymore because they banned abortion there. And that was, tear dripping. My heart goes to her and to the fight that she has in order to bring back abortions around the world. That's fine. But what I don't get is like, why did she film in Northern Ireland when in Northern Ireland abortion is also banned? So how does this work? Like, when she needed money, when she needed to create her name, when she needed to create her brand, she was perfectly fine in filming and having contracts in a place where abortion is banned. But all of a sudden, now that it's that she's wealthy, that she's rich, and that she's looking for a new job and has to virtue signal to show to the world that she has the right mindset. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that fascinating? So yeah, no, there's a whole bandwagon with a lot of Hollywood people that aren't going to film in places where they don't like the laws on abortion. And that is fine. But I don't think that they're going to have a problem filming in places like Northern Ireland, or, if a movie needs to be done in Saudi Arabia, they probably won't complain. That's just my assessment on it. Don't want to get into a rant now. Do let me know what you think. And I'm going to be looking forward to your comments.